The classroom was filled with noise. Students laughed, whispered, and checked their phones. It was just another day for them, but for the teacher standing at the front, it was the last day, the last lesson, the last goodbye. No one really noticed, no one really cared. For years, this teacher had given everything. Late nights, grading papers, long hours preparing lessons, patience beyond measure. But today, there were no banners, no celebrations, no thank you cards on the desk. Just an old, tired teacher with a lifetime of memories, standing in front of a class that didn't care. The teacher cleared their throat, but the students barely looked up. With a small sigh, they began the speech they had prepared. Not one of bitterness, not one of anger, but one of truth. Today is my last day here. Tomorrow, I will no longer be your teacher. Maybe some of you didn't even know that. Maybe some of you don't even know my name. That's okay, because today I just want to share something before I leave. A few students glanced up. Most still didn't pay attention. But the teacher continued. I started teaching because I believed in something. I believed that every student who walked through my classroom had a story. Some of you come from homes filled with love. Some of you don't. Some of you have everything. Some of you have nothing. But when you sat in these desks, you were all equal to me. Every one of you deserved a chance. The class grew quieter. The usual whispers faded. Some students finally looked up from their phones. I stayed late after school to help those who struggled. I spent weekends worrying about students who seemed lost. I answered emails at midnight from parents who never said thank you. I gave more than just lessons. I gave pieces of my life, and that was okay, because I thought it mattered. I thought I mattered. A few students shifted in their seats. Some lowered their eyes. The silence in the room deepened. But somewhere along the way, things changed. I watched as students stopped saying good morning. I saw fewer smiles, heard fewer thank yous. I saw eyes filled with exhaustion, frustration, and sometimes emptiness. And I understood. The world has become heavy for all of us. But still, I kept teaching, hoping, waiting. A deep breath, a small pause. Then the teacher continued, voice softer now. Maybe you don't remember me. Maybe after today, you will never think of me again. But I remember you. I remember the ones who cried at their desks when they thought no one saw. I remember the ones who hid behind jokes because they were afraid of being seen. I remember the ones who walked through these doors carrying burdens too heavy for their young shoulders. And I wished I could have done more. A tear rolled down a student's cheek. Another student looked away, biting their lip. A weight settled over the room, pressing into their hearts. I don't need gifts. I don't need a party. All I ever wanted was for someone, just one person, to say that what I did here mattered, that I made a difference. Because that is what every teacher hopes for. Not money, not fame, just the knowledge that in some small way, we helped shape a life. Silence, complete silence. The bell rang. The teacher smiled, a tired, knowing smile. That's all. Class dismissed, but no one moved. One by one, students stood, not to leave, but to clap. A slow, hesitant clap that grew louder, stronger, filled with something that words couldn't express. A student walked up and hugged the teacher, then another, then another. Tears fell freely now, on faces young and old. The teacher had been right. The world had become heavy. But in that moment, they all carried it together. The forgotten teacher picked up their bag and walked toward the door. leaving behind not just a classroom, but a legacy. And this time, they were not alone.